if you add Fred VanVleet to this team right now, we're talking about the team that's definitively the best in the NBA.
Kelly out of the corner for three.
Brady at the buzzer. Yeah!
Free. Down to three. Down to two. It's a three. Good! Good! James Harden, a flamethrower.
Sengun. Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right, the Rockets are off to a fast start. After an 0-2 start, they have completely righted the ship, and they have entered in the conversation to being one of the best teams in the NBA, Harley. Before we go any further, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Wheelhouse Media. This is Red Nation Radio. We are giving you new episodes every single Wednesday morning. Harley, what are your early impressions on this Rockets team so far?
They're fun. They're definitely fun. And I know we're going to get into it, but man, without a stable point guard, the way this team continues to trudge with their offense has been amazing. Great offensive rebounding. You've had great effort, which we expected. But I think just what's been the biggest shock to me, even though the addition of Kevin Durant, it just still shocks me that this is, one of the best offenses in the NBA. Without a Fred VanVleet, I thought it was going to take some tolls here and there, but to be third in the West and to be looking up from the Nuggets and the Thunder, maybe the Rockets got a better shot than I originally thought without Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, what really, really sucks, and I was actually having this thought earlier, Harley. I was just thinking about the fact that I think if you add Fred VanVleet to this team right now, we're talking about the team that's definitively the best in the NBA. I will confidently say that. If they had Fred VanVleet, they damn well could be only one loss to this point. They would be looked at a lot differently. Even though the offense has been great, I just feel like it is just missing just that extra gear. And that's crazy to say. Again, I understand the offense has been, tops in the league all season long. But when it gets into a 7-game series, when the half-court offense is so much more important, I do have some concerns. Of course, Kevin Durant and Alperen Sengun, if they're going to keep playing the way they are right now, not going to have much more concerns. But I just look at it. If you stack up the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets, just on paper, objectively speaking, and I try to be objective because the homer in me wants to go, you ain't stopping Kevin Durant and Alperen Sengun right now. You just ain't. And that still might be true. But in a 7-game series right now, today, I can't confidently say that the Rockets would defeat the Nuggets or the Thunder. I think they beat everyone else in the West comfortably. I don't see teams like the Clippers or even the Warriors being a team that worries me that much with how the Rockets have started. But I don't see with how deep OKC is. And we saw it opening night. They're so deep. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP. Meanwhile, in Denver, Nikola Jokic is well on his way, running away with the MVP this year. He's reminding everyone, probably should have won it each of the last few years as well. But nonetheless, those are two teams that I think, sure, the Rockets on paper can hang with them. I want to see what this team would look like if they just had a ball-handling point guard that could hit a three. I don't know, someone like a Fred VanVleet would be really, really nice if you added that to this Rockets rotation. Good vibes, though. Loving the play from everyone lately, but it's just I feel like that extra gear is still attainable for this Rockets team.
Yeah, me and Danny, shout out to Danny. He's my multimedia guy for Wheelhouse Media. We were just talking about, he was going, man, I don't know who's going to really compete with this Rockets team this year. And I was like, I agree with you to a certain point. And that's where I agree with you, Spencer. It's trying to figure out, because we saw it in the Orlando Magic game where the inbounds pass, that game should have went horribly wrong. You had an inbounds pass from Alperen Sengun, and Kevin Durant slips, look, whether or not he was pushed in the back To me, it just looked like he slipped and fell on the
I
play.
agree. I agree with that, by the way. I think it was an old man moment for Kevin Durant.
It happens, and for that to happen, and I thought the game was basically over. Thank God the Orlando Magic just don't know how to front Sengun away from the paint. And
honestly, they should have won in regulation. There should have been an and one, and Alpi would have hit a free throw.
Yes, it should have been. But what a wild game that was. But for the Rockets, I thought that was a good game for them. But I mean, just looking at it in general picture, like, man, Nikola Jokic is going nuclear this year. And then you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And yeah, we went toe-to-toe with the Thunder. We went back double OT with them. But people forgot they were missing Jalen Williams in that game.
Right.
And Jalen Williams, that's a bad dude. Okay.
Yeah, easily they're Robin.
Yeah, like let's not minimize what
40 points in an NBA Finals game. Only special players get to say they did that.
Very much so. So, with that being said, in order for the Rockets to compete, I won't say to compete, but in order for them to get into that 1-2 seed, the upper echelon, they are going to need consistent point guard play. And I'm right there with you. Right now, I don't see it. Despite Reed Shepherd's trajectory, right now, he has just been amazing for you right now. But even with his play, I am not very confident in his point guard ability, separate from his two guard ability. Because what we're seeing, my goodness, his defense has been amazing. He's confident and he's shooting threes. But I'm trying to find a point guard for this Rockets team. And obviously FVV, he's not there. Look, man. Unfortunately, Tari Eason just got hurt. And I kind of went, damn. And it wasn't because he got hurt. It was more so, damn, I kind of got to wait 4 to 6 weeks to trade him.
That seed I planted at the beginning of the season, man, it's starting to look a little bit more appealing. I will say though, we need to get Tari back. We need to get Dorian Finney-Smith back as well. I want to see him make his Rockets debut. I think where people underestimate what he's going to bring. On paper, he's our second best three-point shooter. And that's on a team where I'm saying that was going into the season, and no one was really expecting Reed Sheppard to make the jump he has. But on paper, it was Kevin Durant, then Dorian Finney-Smith. So someone that could arguably be our second best defender, arguably our second best three-point shooter. Get that guy back in the rotation. I don't know, man. We might still continue to just patch up the lack of a ball handler, and it just might be you ain't going to score on us, and we're going to hit three-pointers all day in the face. So maybe it works. I still just want to see the buyout market's going to be interesting. I'll say that because I think if I understand Rafael Stone, and I don't even know if I do, because he can be a hard GM to read, but he is someone I typically has wanted to support his guys in the past, right? So in order to get a ball handler, I'm not sure he's going to be willing to part with some of these guys. Like the Tari Eason idea I floated around at the beginning of the season on this channel. I felt like it was definitely a pipe dream, as I don't think that's something Rafael Stone would do. However, the buyout market, if it's interesting this season, and you just add, again, a Fred VanVleet type of point guard. I'm not asking for a crazy star. Like I'm definitely don't wanting Harden. I've seen that flown out there. I've seen Trae Young floated out there. I'm not asking for something big. I'm not even asking for a Derek White. Maybe someone like maybe a D'Angelo Russell. Give him 15 minutes a game. Maybe someone like Colin Sexton, something like that. That's something that appeals to me. If we can get something like that on the buyout market, I think that's where the avenue we need to take to get a point guard. That's just that last step they need to really, in my opinion, put us in the top echelon of the NBA's elite, which we only talked about the Thunder and the Nuggets. I do want to give a shout out to the Detroit Pistons, 12-2 on the season at the time of this recording. Unbelievable start. They are definitely a team that, people were writing the East off this year, but if the Pistons are the team coming out the East, I wouldn't write them off so quick. But anything else, Harley, for you?
When you talked about the buyout market, you mentioned a few point guards. Look, I thought you were going to mention one of the teams we just recently played. I understand the Portland Trailblazers are playing some good basketball, but I question it. And by question it, I mean, how long is it going to last? How long is their good basketball play going to last? Because, it's pretty evident. We saw them, and they're a scrappy team. And then the Rockets just closed the door on them and closed the door on them hard and ended up whooping them so bad that they had a players-only meeting.
Yeah, I love that. That's good to be on the other side of that one.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And the Blazers are 6-7 right now. So I'm eyeing Drew Holiday because, my goodness gracious, he looked really good in that game against us. He has the connection to Ime Udoka, former Boston Celtic. I mean, Thiago Splitter's there as the head coach who was formerly on this staff. It would not shock me. You got Aaron Holiday, who's currently on this roster, his brother.
Oh, that would be fun. That's a good one. That's a good name out there.
That's the one I've been eyeing before the season started. When we heard Fred VanVleet got hurt, I was keep an eye on the Lakers. Obviously, they're 10-4, I believe, right now, or something around that.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Smart was a name I was thinking of. I was thinking of guys that had that connection to Ime Udoka, So Marcus Smart, maybe not the best of the ball handlers, but again, somebody that's a point guard that could help you out. But Drew Holiday's my guy. I'm definitely going to keep taking a look at how that Trailblazers season is going, and then I'm going, a guy that can play defense. Was hitting threes against us in the Trailblazers. Look, might not be the most consistent three-point shooter, but you got to be aware and you got to put a hand in the face because he is going to drain him if he's wide open.
Yeah, and that's all we need from a point guard, honestly, with the way that the Rockets play. They run a lot through Sengun. They run a lot through Kevin Durant. They really just need another person that can, frankly, bring the ball up the court would be nice, but also someone that can run the offense, position everyone correctly, play defense, and hit your three-pointers. Again, we don't need some crazy shot creator like Steph Curry or someone like that. We're not asking for the world. Just someone who can bring the damn ball up the court consistently. That would be very, very nice. But until then, hey, the Rockets, they're fun to watch, as you mentioned at the very beginning of the show. And, hey, who knows? Maybe at the time we get to the playoffs, they've completely patched it up, and we're talking about Point Sengun a lot more. But y'all let us know in the comments, do the Rockets need to go and acquire a point guard? And if so, give us some names in the comments of some guys you would like to see. For Harley, this is Spencer and Red Nation Radio. We will see y'all next Wednesday.